You're watching the 2023 SCAC Fall Media Days, and today we're taking a look into the Southwestern University Pirates men's and women's cross-country programs. The Pirates will be led as they head into the season under the guidance of head coach Joe Sponsel, along with senior Rachel Chiella and junior Brian Armijo. Coach, Rachel, Brian, thanks so much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Coach, we'll get started with you. A bit of a homecoming for you as you head back to Southwestern and into your first year as the head coach of these two cross-country programs. Come on and get hired in the wintertime last year and have a chance to go through a track and field season with some of your distance runners. And I'm sure that was a big help in the transition. But, what have these last few months been like? How excited are you to head into your first season there as the head coach of both of these programs?
Yeah, excitement levels are super high. It's been so great to be back at a place that I have a lot of love for, a lot of pride for, and working with some of the same coaches and administrators that were here when I was a student and or a volunteer coach over the last decade. So that definitely did help with transitioning to a new job. But it's in a very familiar place. I also grew up in Georgetown. I have my parents live here. Some of my high school friends live here. So that part of it was relatively simple. When I first started, my main goal was to just kind of see where the program was at, meet the athletes on the team, see what the team culture was like. And I didn't make any like drastic changes right away when I first started. I just kind of wanted to ease in a little bit, knowing that the bigger challenge would be this coming fall when I had to plan some cross-country meets and travel and everything. A lot of it was already planned in track season when I first got here, thanks to Coach Ebo. But a lot of this summer has been just planning the travel, the meets, meals, hotels, planning the training and keeping in touch with the returners and the big freshman class we have. And speaking of a lot of that is what the excitement I have right now is all for. We've got a great group of incoming freshmen that are all super enthusiastic. They're all great people. They've been asking me questions all summer about like, how can I train better? Can I train more? Things like that. And it's nice to have that excitement building into the season before we even get here to just bring that momentum in from day one.
Rachel, heading into your senior season, I'm interested just in your mindset coming into this preseason and the start of a new year for you. Is there some urgency as one of the seniors on this team? And how have you maybe filled a little bit of that leadership role? Coach talks about a lot of incoming, new student athletes into this program. How are you going to help kind of shoulder that leadership role as well as one of the seniors on this group?
I'm not sure that like urgency would be the right word. Like Coach Joe said, I'm personally just feeling like a lot of excitement coming off of a really great season last year where we had a chance to build such like a strong and such a good team culture. I feel like that's already translating over now with the new group of freshmen that we have. So I guess my focus right now is like making sure that everyone's being welcoming and everyone's working to like encourage and really connect with each other. Because I think that's what's going to carry us through a lot of like early morning practices and travel meets, especially once school gets started and everyone's busy with exams. Just that the team unity there is what really helped us last year.
Brian, as I mentioned in your junior season, your first year as an upperclassman, what have you learned about the flow of a cross-country season over the course of your first 2 years, just sort of understanding there's maybe a ramp up to that championship portion of the season? And, how did those lessons learned over the course of those first couple of years maybe help give you confidence coming into this junior year?
Well, a cross-country season, like you said, it's a big buildup. You take it step by step, kind of blocks at a time. You start off over the summer, easing back into it because you've taken a couple weeks off after track season, and then you build up your mileage, incorporate some workouts, and then increase the workouts intensity as you get back to school in the late preseason stages. Then after that, you get into racing, continue to build up workouts, maintain mileage, and then taper down for the postseason. And you definitely learn how to manage that as an individual. As you go through your college career. As a freshman, you come in, you may not be entirely sure how your body responds to different training cycles, especially if you've only run in high school under one coach. So as you continue to go through your years in college, you build and you learn based off of any mistakes you've made, anything that works well. For me, I've just started to hit my flow over and over. Every single summer, I've kind of found something new. And then every season, I've found a new way to incorporate that into an intense racing and academic schedule at the same time. So I'm excited to see where that takes me, and I'm excited to see where it takes my team.
Coach, you talked about the excitement coming back to Georgetown and sort of easing your way into this season and not wanting to rock the boat too much, just at the beginning when you first got there and navigating through the track and field season. Now, as you turn your focus to this cross-country season, what are some of the messages? What are some of the things that you really hope to try to implement within these two programs that you feel will help continue to strengthen the distance programs there at Southwestern?
I think Rachel mentioned a little bit of it is the team culture. I think it's very important to have like one solid unit instead of just a group of individuals. And I think that's one of the messages early on this week that and over the late part of the summer, trying to make sure everyone's on the same page with preseason schedules and moving and everything, is that they all feel welcome and not like the freshmen are separate. Like, not that I don't want them to feel like freshmen. I want them to come in and feel like they're just a part of the team right away on day one, and feel like they can be comfortable asking questions, expressing themselves, and having fun when it's time to have fun, but taking it seriously when it's time to work hard on the workouts and stuff. More training wise, I think I'm going to be a little bit more disciplined this semester on some of the drills that we do, the warm-ups, the form drills, the stretching after practice, things like that I wasn't quite as strict on in the spring, because sometimes it's the little things like that over the course of the season that build up to make or break, are you prepared for that championship race? And that's one of the things that I'm working on as a coach, but that I'm also trying to set that example for the team as well.
Rachel, to me, cross country, uniquely, maybe to any other sport, the discipline it requires to continue to grow and get better each and every day, especially when, maybe teammates aren't around, or it's early mornings to avoid heat, or just picking yourself up when you know that there's those long runs ahead. I really admire and respect that. With that being said, what is it that continues to motivate you as a runner? How do you continue to find that energy, find that motivation day in and day out to continue to grow and get better heading into the senior year?
Well, something that I always tell either freshmen or people in high school looking at college sports in general is that you have to love it. Like, you have to love what you're doing. So personally, I love running. Like, I enjoy running by myself. And I enjoy running with the team, with my friends. A lot of the time, like through high school, like your parents can make you go to practice. They're the ones who drag you to school really early. Maybe you don't get a say-so in it. But once you're at college, like, you're on your own for the most part. And in addition to everything else that you're figuring out in college, now you have to find like your motivation, and you have to find like your desire to keep running and keep competing. I'm a very competitive person in most things I do, most games. My friends will tell you that. So I look forward to the meets. Like, that's what I'm training for. That pulls me through the summer. And then, again, I just love running for like the sport of it. I find it meditative. It's how I like have some of my quiet time. It's very calming. Spend some time thinking, spend some time praying, listening to sermons, worship music, podcasts. It's a great time to learn and grow.
Brian, in the thick of preseason right now, as you get prepared for another year, I think uniquely, certainly one of the unique times of the season, some love-hate, I would imagine, maybe that goes into preseason with the hard work getting ready for a new year. What's your favorite part about preseason? What do you enjoy most about this time of the year?
I think it's meeting all the new freshmen that are coming into the team, especially this year. Like Coach Joe said, we have a big group of people coming in, and my most important priority as we transitioned into moving into our dorms and starting school was making sure that they felt welcome by us as a team. And so far, they've clicked immediately. They already feel like they're a part of our family, and I'm just enjoying spending time with them, getting to know them. They're the future of our program and our team. So I'm just enjoying, getting to know who they are as people and seeing who they are out on the course as well. It's really fun.
Finally, Coach, wrapping things up with you as you've looked ahead to this first year back as the head coach of these programs. these seasons are successful if what plays out on the cross country course this year. What are you looking for from both of these programs to kind of continue to elevate these two programs heading into your first season?
Mm-hmm. So for the women's team, our top 5 is going to be much tighter of a group. Same thing for the men. And I think that's obviously the way cross country is scored. That really helps you out in the team scoring. For the conference meet, I really want to close the gap on the top 2 schools. For a while, it's kind of been them and then everyone else. But I think this year, and like using this year as a learning tool for next year as well, because we only have 1 senior on the team, and so we'll be, returning everybody next year. It's not just, this year. I kind of am looking at the next year too and seeing like how can I combine the goals for this year into progress for next year as well. And I think for the men, if we can close that gap on the top 2 schools and distance ourselves from the rest of the conference, that would be like in the points at the end of the conference meet, that would be a big step in the right direction. And at the regional meet, I think I think we can be a top 12 team, and on our best day, top 10, and finish the season ranked in the region. I would really love for that to happen this year. And then for the women, I think the last couple of years we weren't able to. Southwestern wasn't able to, have 5 across the line. So just getting 5 across the line is kind of the minimum this year. And then I'll have a more clear idea of where in the ranking we can finish as I see the team race a little bit. But I'm excited to see that play out as well, because the women's team over the last 10 years or so has been kind of small, but we have the biggest one in a long time this year.
Finally, wrapping things up with our 2 student athletes, Rachel and Brian, just as you've sort of closed your eyes and thought about this season and had conversation with your teammates, what are some of the goals that you both have for your groups heading into the season, and what will be key in order to try to accomplish those heading into this year?
Kind of like Coach Joe was just saying, for the past couple of years that I've been here, our women's team has been very small. We've been lucky if we can actually have a full 5 girls on the team. So I think one of the main goals that we have this year is that a lot of the women are able to train together. So they're able to push each other and be more competitive. So I think getting a feel, like the freshmen and the sophomores, it's mostly a very young team, getting a feel for racing and what competition looks like, what doing well looks like, succeeding in cross country, but also while they're doing school with their academics as well.
Individually, my goal is to continue to be a student of the sport and to study what makes me tick, how can I continue to improve in racing, in training, continue to overall enjoy the process more, because that's where my love for running stems. It's not just a sport that allows you to become a better runner. You can learn to grow as a person as well. And so I believe if I can incorporate that with also my goal for the team of us learning how to pack run, learning how to race well together, have good team chemistry under high intensity situations, then if I can have both of those click individually and for the team, then I feel like the results will come however they may, and I'll know we'll have put our best foot forward.
Southwestern University men's and women's cross-country programs. Again, the Pirates will be led as they head into the season as a guidance to head coach Joe Sponsel, along with leaders senior Rachel Chiella on the women's side and junior Brian Armijo on the men's side. The Pirates will open up the 2023 season when they host the Pirate Open on September 1st. Coach, Rachel, Brian, thanks so much for your time today, and best of luck as you head into the season.
Thank you.